Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. In the previous session, we saw the components of action according to Lord Krishna in chapter 18, where he talks about 5 components: Adhishtanam, Karta, Karanam, Cheshtaha, Daivam. The Adhishtana, the substratum, or the very body with which a human beings can engage in action, is the first and foremost. Without a human body, action is not possible. The difference between action and work. Work is what you think and do, plan and execute, whereas an action can be anything like walking, talking, eating, breathing, etc. So the human body with the intellect is endowed with this ability to plan out an action after thinking about the result and the means to get it. And that is why it is Adhishtanam, Deha, physical body. Then Karta, the individual who is intending to have a particular goal for which the engaging in the action takes place. This Karta is the one who is the desirer of a particular result. Then Karanam, the instruments through which you perceive the world before you engage in action. Just like if you would like to paint, obviously you need to know what you're painting about. If you are looking at a beautiful scenery which you want to reproduce in your canvas, or you are taking a camera and clicking the scenery, you must first see, understand that's what you want, and then do it. So your jnanendriyas, organs of perception, are also very important for work to be completed. If the information that is received by the senses are wrong, obviously the action will go wrong as well. Cheshtaha, actual activity performed by the body to accomplish a particular task. Then finally, Daivam, which we saw in 2 meanings in that Daivam. One is the past actions that influence the present result, as well as the presiding deities who are governing all the sense organs in our body, and due to their grace, we will be able to complete it. Both are unknown. So whether good or bad actions undertaken by any individual through speech, body, and mind are caused by only these 5 components of action. Continuing, we saw impulses to action. 3 broad categories: experiencer, experienced, and the experience itself, and how they are related to the instruments and object of action and subject of action. One who wants to achieve a particular result according to one desire is an experiencer, And he uses internal and external instruments of action as a basis for his engagement. Experienced the goal that is to be desired, and knowing well what action should be done, the object of the action, the experience, meaning the collective memory about the object of desire, and the subject, the individual who is seeking it. So it's a different form of classification of the previous one, which is known as components of action. Continuing, Krishna explains how to transition from action to actor to the self, Atman. So cause of action is not the world, it is a desire born out of ignorance of one's own self. So a person who does not know that engages in action without knowing the cause. But a person who realizes that it is the ignorance or the lack of knowledge, lack of true knowledge, then he moves from the focus is moved from action to the actor. Who is the actor? So he starts to question the motive of the action. Is it a desire or a responsibility? If it is desire, it never ends. If it is responsibility, it definitely ends. From the actor to the Atman, the self, is by knowledge. With the proper guidance from the Guru and understanding the nature of the soul and knowing that the self, the Atman, is actionless. Even while engaging in action, one who is able to shift the attention from the individual ego, the actor, to the actionless self, one will be able to become free. The last thing that we saw in the previous session was about the play of mental qualities, gunas. What are the sattvic knowledge, rajasic knowledge, and tamasic knowledge? Sattvic action, rajasic action, tamasic action. Sattvic actor, rajasic actor, and tamasic actor. If you look at it carefully, you'll realize the sattvic knowledge is about oneness of everything. Therefore, a sattvic actor does not have a personal agenda in any action. And therefore, such an actor will engage in the action as a duty without worried about success or failure. Whereas a person who possesses rajasic knowledge, he only looks at the diversity, multiplicity, variety. And therefore, his action will be always to possess, own, enjoy, indulge. And the actor also becomes affected by the results. Success makes him get elated, and failure obviously make him very defeated and depressed. He is subject to the ups and downs of life, very vulnerable. A tamasic knowledge, on the other hand, is a fanatic perception of life, holding on to one particular idea or notion, never wants to give up. And such a person, he will act without any thinking about the consequences, for he doesn't care about what happens to the world or anybody else. And if given a chance, he will become a person who can cheat others as well as trick another for one's own gain, or he may go into indolence and he will even procrastinate his work. Typical personality types we can see. It is not for us to judge others whether they are rajasic, tamasic, or sattvic. It is for us to understand our own inner personality. In today's session, we will continue on the play of mental qualities. Having explained about knowledge, action, and the actor, Sri Krishna proceeds on saying, what is the wisdom of sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic nature type? So wisdom of a sattvic person is understanding about what to do and what not to do, fear and its absence, bondage and liberation. A sattvic person is one who is very clear about what needs to be done in his life. He's not living like a life of an animal, instinctive. Intuitive life is different from instinctive life. Instinctive life is decided by the circumstances. Intuitive life is decided by the knowledge. So any action to be undertaken, there is a plan, an idea first starts. And the question is, do I need it? Do I need to do it? And what would be the end result of this action? Is it bondage or freedom? Am I doing out of fear, insecurity, uncertainty, unhappiness, or I am doing it because it is the right thing to do? When you know which is the right thing to do, you don't have any fear. When you know that you are doing the right thing, you don't care about whether it is ending in favorable and unfavorable situations for you. While engaging in action itself, this person enjoys certain amount of inner freedom. Whereas a person who is having rajasic wisdom, you cannot call it a wisdom, it's a collective understanding. But the understanding is not clear about dharma and adharma. So that is what to do and what not to do is very much mixed up. It's a gray area. As Arjuna, Duryodhana was telling Krishna, Janami adharmam najame nivrittihi, Janami dharmam najame pravrittihi. I know what is right, but I can't do it. I know what is wrong, but I cannot stop it. Because in the perception of a rajasic individual who has rajasic wisdom, means justify the end. I want to reach a particular point, no matter how I get it. So adharma is not considered wrong for a person who is seeking only a particular result for oneself. It doesn't affect him at all. Telling a lie, cheating others, being cunning, being deceitful, because the greed takes over. I want to get it no matter what. So there is no clear understanding of why should I follow dharma at all. Arjun in the battlefield asked this question to Krishna. I see the war. I see the people going to die at the end of it. But at the end of it, I would probably get the kingdom, which can be ruled with dharma. But is it the means correct? I'm not sure whether the war, which is the means to get that victory, is correct or not. So he's questioning the means. Whereas Duryodhana and Karna and others in the same battlefield, for the same reason they are fighting, to get the kingdom, to retain the kingdom, so to say. But they do not consider war as adharma. For they are not considering it as a duty. It is a means to get what they want. Whereas Krishna is trying to elucidate, he was trying to elucidate to Arjun that the means must be understood clearly. You as a Kshatriya, a warrior, to get what you want, your method that you use is battle. If you had been a Brahmana, a person who has sattvic tendencies, whose main duty is preaching, teaching, and being moral and ethical, God-fearing, faithful to God's worship, etc. If you had been that, I would not have asked you to get into the war. But you are a Kshatriya. So for you, the dharma is fight. And so it is clear from Krishna's standpoint that what Arjuna is doubting about is a means. And I need to clarify that the means that he is getting into to get the kingdom back is correct. And so the clarity about dharma and adharma must be understood. That is not there in the case of a rajasic person. Whatever way I will get it. So that is the attitude of a rajasic mind. Whereas tamasic wisdom is that where one misunderstands that dharma is adharma, adharma is dharma. Such people who will not tolerate anybody who is doing the right thing, they'll go and attack them. Rakshasa tendency, that tamasic nature. When Rama and Lakshmana was asked by Vishwamitra to protect the rituals, Tataka and many others came to attack. At that point, Vishwamitra said, "Hey Rama, do not even think twice. These evil beings are unaware of what is dharma and adharma. They take one thing for the other. And so don't hesitate to destroy them because they cannot be taught, they cannot be rectified. Because their basic nature is perverted thinking. You have to punish them. No teaching will be will make them correct themselves." See, in today's world also, a person who commits a crime and knowing that he did a wrong thing can be taught to correct himself. That's why it's called correction facility. Whereas a person who did the wrong thing and justifies it, what will you do with that person? He says, what I did was wrong. What I did was right. He never considers wrong. So to such a person, to teach him is more difficult. The third category is, when you say what you did is wrong, he will say you are wrong. So that means that you consider this dharma, it is not dharma to me. So these are the three categories of wisdom. Those who are sattvic, they understand clearly what it is, and they do not have any fear about doing the things, but they definitely fear about doing wrong things. Adharma, they are fearing about. So what is to be feared, what is not to be feared? And what is bondage, what is liberation? Whereas a rajasic person who has unclear understanding of this because of the greediness, and tamasic people who have opposite, perverted thinking. So in the case of Hiranyakashipu also, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, they were cursed to be the Rakshasas, Asuras. And then when Prahlad was worshipping, he could not tolerate his father himself, Hiranyakashipu. He could not tolerate that. He thought that what he's doing is wrong. What Prahlada is doing is wrong. He took the perverted view and he even tried to kill him, his own son. Think about the amount of tamas that has gone into his mind. So next topic he takes it is the fortitude. Dhriti, it's called in Sanskrit. The determination A sattvic determination is where ability to withdraw the mind and the senses with the determination through unwavering yoga. Avyabhicharena yogena. With undeviating yoga practice, one is recognizing the need for quietening the mind and mastery over the senses. And about that person who has sattvic fortitude is very clear. And continuously he practices that so that he will overcome all lower urges and his mind is available for higher flights of meditation. Only when we start practicing inner self-control of the mind and the senses, we see how it is easy for us to go to a deeper state of meditation. When your mind is agitated, disturbed, so many things have happened, and then you sit for meditation, obviously the mind will not cooperate. Whereas if you are in a situation where mind is serene, quiet, calm, collected, you have handled the situations of that life, daily life, very peacefully. And that evening or late in the night, when you sit for meditation, or next morning when you sit for meditation quietly, your mind is naturally calm and peaceful. No magic has happened. It is because the way you handled the previous day or the situations that came to you, with what determination you handled, that decides the state of mind. A rajasic mind, on the other hand, has got a strongly holding on to possessions, and it considers dharma, artha, kama, the righteous duty, wealth, and pleasure are necessary for one to experience in life, and that alone is life. So, pursuing them with great attachment to the results. Dharma should give me punya, and with punya I will go to Swarga, or that punya should give me wealth, which I want to enjoy in this world. This world is only for enjoyment. God created everything for us, for our pleasure. Maximum happiness should be derived out of the senses. That is my determination. That is the nature of Rajas. Whereas tamasic fortitude is not achievement, not quietening the mind, going to sleep, fear, sorrow, depression, arrogance. These are all the nature, these are all the determination for the tamasic mind. So these are the three types of dhritis spoken about by Krishna. Continuing, three types of happiness: sattvika, rajasika, and tamasika. Sattvic happiness comes out of effort. We can easily get pleasures and joys out of sense contacts. What you want to eat, eat it. What you want to enjoy it. These kind of indulgences through senses by which we get pleasures need much less effort. Whereas the joy and the peace one gets out of mind becoming quiet by withdrawing from the other usual wanderings of the mind and the senses, in the beginning it will be painful. Is it not true that any perfection, any field happens only when there is a required amount of effort done by an individual? And that effort means pain, struggle, stress, expenditure of energy. If you want to enjoy good health, you must do your workout, you must restrict your food, and you must have proper sleeping and other lifestyle. If that is to be enjoyed by you, you must put enough effort for it. Any winning is great only when the required amount of effort is done. On the other hand, if one says that I want happiness, no matter what, I won't put any effort for it, then it is merely enjoying the sense contacts. It ends in pain. It begins in pleasure, but ends in pain. How many rasagullas you want to eat? As many as you want. Okay, you eat. Then after an hour or two, your stomach will start pinching. So in the beginning, it's a pleasure up to the tongue. Afterwards, it's a pain. Whereas in the case of sattvic happiness, it's more of disciplining and then enjoying the peace that comes out of it. It is like the flight that is taking off. In the beginning, it has to put a lot of strain to take off from the ground with a lot of energy spent. Once up in the sky, 30 on 32,000 feet, it just floats. And you don't even know that you're moving. In the same way, initial efforts, when it is put with determination to achieve maximum, with that mindset, when you do, in the beginning it is troublesome, like a poison, Krishna says, but later it becomes like a nectar. Tamasic happiness is born out of sleepiness, indolence, laziness, inadvertence, which is in the beginning also it is a delusion, later on also a delusion. One may say that, yes, sleep is a great joy, Swamiji, but you are moving nowhere, no progress, nothing, no improvement takes place. You are in the same condition, maybe going to the worse. So you maybe a pleasure, it's a disguised form of delusion. Nothing is achieved out of it. So that happiness is not of any use. It is just like an inert thing. You see your dog at home or a cat, typically cat. What does it do? Eat and then sleep. Then again get up, eat, sleep. Like a Kumbhakarna. So we go back to the animal nature if you are in for tamasic happiness. So these are the three kinds of happiness. Bhagavan Krishna says it depends upon what kind of a personality that one is. So we saw sattvic wisdom, rajasic and tamasic. Sattvic, rajasic and tamasic fortitude, and sattvic, rajasic, tamasic happiness. All right. Continuing. Human beings are broadly classified based upon the combination of gunas. Not all of us are made up of the same combination of gunas. Everyone is so unique. Gurudev gives a beautiful example here. No sample of coffee is possible without its three ingredients: decoction, milk, and sugar. The proportion in which they are mixed may be different from cup to cup, according to the taste of the drinker. So too, everything in this world is mixed with rajas, sattva, and tamas. Sattva, rajas, and tamas. According to Sankhyan philosophy, who have thought about this classification very carefully, they broadly classified human beings also of four types. We'll see each one of them. The first type are those who are thinkers. In traditional literature, they are known as Brahmanaha, Panditaha, thinkers. They are naturally endowed with and engage in serenity, self-mastery, austerity, purity, forgiveness, uprightness, knowledge, wisdom, and faith. They maintain the spiritual and moral fiber of the society. They are visionaries. They see not the world, what is presented to them at the present moment, they see beyond that. They can see what is going to happen based upon what is happening right now. And also, they not go by their own logic and pet theories. They have the support of the scriptures written by great masters for them to conclude about any situation. That's why the faith in the scriptures and God is an important characteristic of Brahmana. Gurudev says that even in today's world, in every field, you will find a group of people who are constantly engaged in research. The possible diseases, possible situations that would come tomorrow based upon where we are heading today must be thought about. Today's environment, global warming, etc., we are aware of this, but we are not thinking about what needs to be done. Who is thinking about it? Those who are spending time on understanding what had brought the present situation due to what we did in the past and what will happen if we don't change. So in every field, medical field or management field, or in the world of scriptures, the world of literature, everything that affects human beings and the world at large, there are people who are sitting and thinking about it. And they are very crucial for human growth. The society will be completely at loss if these people are not there. Not only that, there are philosophers and spiritual leaders who are constantly engaging in making sure that people turn themselves towards their own faith, religion, spirituality, through moral and ethical values, maintaining the moral order and ethical order in the society is important for the community or the society to live together without harming themselves. These are all done by these thinkers, Brahmanas. They are not those who believe in war or battle or violence, destruction. They believe in instruction, inspiration, faith, belief, togetherness, humanity, brotherhood, law and order, forgiveness, religion, prayer, meditation, peace. So this is the nature of a Brahmana whose sattva is very high. As we saw in the previous session, sattva high means what? Knowledge of these people is about oneness. And with that knowledge, that everything is governed by one single reality or the truth, all are interconnected, all are interdependent. Therefore, what one does or what one society or country does will affect others. In today's world, we see very, very clearly what happens. If one country or one set of people are doing the wrong thing, the entire world will come to a standstill, will suffer for that. We are not anymore living in isolated communities. Everybody is interconnected. The whole economy is interconnected. So these are the thinkers who, they may be politicians also, they may be statesmen, but those people who think very deeply and see the consequences of actions, war, etc., even environment, as I said, they are the thinkers. The second category of people are the protectors, naturally endowed with and engaged in prowess, splendor, firmness, dexterity, generosity, lordliness, and not escaping from the battle with enemies. They vigilantly protect the society. These are those who are ready to give up their life for the sake of protecting a community or a society, a country. Soldiers who are ready to secure others, to give safety to the rest of the people. If one has to die to protect the entire community, they are ready to do. That requires boldness, extreme amount of heroism and strength. They realize that punishment should be given to those who break the law. Those who disturb the integrity of the society must be put aside. The large majority should be protected from the minority of people who are violent. And for that sake, they engage in various methods of protecting the society. So writing the law, making sure that law and order is maintained. And they are men of action. They don't hesitate to engage in action if needed. They no doubt respect the word of philosophy or religion. They do hear them. And they get into action related to that wisdom. In the past, the kings always had the Raja Rishis who are in the part of their council, and they listen to them and making sure that they take the directions from them and then continue to engage in their duties and responsibilities in governing the society. So protectors, Kshatriyaha, their rajas is very high, 80% rajas, engaging in action. Sattva is jnanam, rajas is action. So they believe in action, not just advice and listening, but they engage in converting the knowledge into action. They do have sattva because they believe in the right kind of instruction and education. And therefore, protectors or kshatriyas are considered as the second variety. It is not to say that first variety is better than the second. No comparison here. These are the two combinations. It is like, as Gurudev would say, coffee, when you say, there are different kinds of coffee that are made, even in this country. So in India, especially when you go to Kerala, hardly any milk, mostly sugar and dark coffee, hardly milk. Whereas if you go to Gujarat, more sugar than all other places. If you go to Punjab, hardly any coffee, mainly milk and sugar. So the combinations are there as per the taste of the people. One cannot say one is better than the other. So here, Kshatriyas are necessary in any society. They are part and parcel of the society because they are people who make sure physical action is undertaken for the sake of the security of the society. The third category are traders. Traders are those who naturally engage in agriculture, cattle rearing, and trade, business. They enhance the wealth and financial strength of the society. This is also a very important ingredient of a society. They are those who make sure the people live in financial security. Because after all, when you want to live, you need to know what you want to eat or how you get the means to live. Daily life also decided by what you get to survive yourself. So these traders They are constantly engaged in the Vanijyam transactions, import and export, buying and selling. And therefore, they are considered to be also Rajasic in their action, because engaging in action, daily life is very important for them. So they are those who are like pillars of a building. The building cannot stand without pillars. While Brahmanas are considered as the foundation, Vaishyas or the businessmen are considered as the pillars. The Kshatriyas are the roof. Without the roof, no building can exist. Without the foundation also, no building can exist. Without the pillar also, the building cannot exist. Between the roof and the foundation are the pillars, connecting both. The men of wisdom can give the vision. Kshatriyas can execute, but they need resources that is provided by the Vaishyas. The last category, again, it is not the lower, it is considered to be equally important, are the laborers who naturally engage in various service activities that are beneficial for the society. They make sure that all various other requirements of the society are met in which physical labor is involved. If you would like to build a building, you need a person who puts a blueprint first, according to the need. Then afterwards, the engineers will know what are the things that are required to build that building. Then the financiers will come and put the money required for the material. But finally, who gets the whole thing done? The physical labor, those who are ready to sweat and toil for the sake of completing a job. So the same way, Shudras are those considered to be in the service field. In every society, you need it. For example, if you are traveling in a flight, you paid the money, you got the seat, you go and sit there. There is a pilot who is piloting the flight. Some ground control is giving him direction where to go. But there are people who are inside the flight who are giving you water, food when you need it, making sure the seats are clean. Whatever you finish eating, then they are cleaning up the place, making sure that your journey is comfortable. So they have to be there, the people who are providing the service. So the Shudras are those who are making sure that we have a comfortable living as well as accomplishing our tasks require their labor, their expenditure of energy. So this way, every society has got all these four kinds of people. And according to the gunas, predominance of a particular guna, combination of those will make them engage in particular field of activity. Now, interesting thing is, Krishna proceeds, you can spiritually grow no matter who you are. One cannot misconstrue that only Brahmanas can be spiritual, or Kshatriyas, or Vaishyas, and definitely not Shudras. No, this is completely a wrong understanding. Krishna says it is possible for everyone to come towards me to gain freedom. Doesn't matter whether you are a Brahmana or Kshatriya, or Vaishya, or Shudra. Whatever be the combination of your gunas, you can come. It is not only sattvic people can gain moksha, others are not. No, it is not true. So here he says, circumstances in life are created by your own karma and vasana, and gunas. Your circumstances are created. If you are born to a Brahmana family, because you have done actions accordingly and your gunas are enhanced. Sattva has increased and therefore you have Brahmana quality. If your Rajasic quality increased, then you are either a Vaishya or a Kshatriya, the protector or the provider. If your Tamasic quality is on the increase, therefore you would have become a Shudra or labor class. And if you are born to a family of Brahmanas, then obviously your field of activity would be accordingly that. So too others. So combination of gunas decide the circumstances associated with your birth, family, and swadharma, the duty. See, this is specifically according to the society of the past. Today it may differ. A person who is born to a Brahmin family also can become a soldier, or a Kshatriya also can become a trader or a businessman. A businessman can also be a person who start to teach scriptures. That is possible. Become a priest also. So any combination is possible. But usually, Swadharma is decided by the family in which you are born and the birth, etc., in which circumstance you are born. So what you meet in life, irrespective of what your family background is or what your field of work is, you will meet life according to your vasanas. But how you meet is decided by your wisdom. I have explained to you this earlier also many times. What you meet is not decided by you. How you meet is entirely decided by your wisdom. So now, wisdom is to recognize and constantly remember that everything that you experience in the world, as the world, come from one conscious source. And that very conscious source is all pervading. It pervades everything equally. And every animate being or every inanimate thing is present due to that very presence of consciousness. All that you do is possible due to his presence in you as a divine life. And all actions must be therefore performed as duties. So you understand this. Whatever be the profession that you take, whatever be, wherever you are, whether you are taking the profession of being a Brahmana, and accordingly you are doing priestly work, research and whatnot, or if you are born as a Kshatriya, you are engaging in the world of action, police force, army, military, navy, firefighters, security personnel, all that. Or if you are a businessman dealing with money, finance control, all that. Or if you are a person who is in the service field, marketing, sales, production, whatever be the action that you do keeping in mind that everything has come from the one, everything is provided by the one, in everybody there is only one, in me also that is the same one which is working, and therefore whatever I do in whichever field of action, yata pravritti bhudanam yena sarvamidam tadam, in whatever be the thing that has come in this world, has come from that one only. Swakarmana tam apircha siddhim bindati manava. Swakarmana, by one's own action. Swakarmana tam apyarcha, worshipping him, siddhim bindati manava. Success is obtained by the human. So to direct all actions toward the same source is a true worship. Wherever one is, whatever one does. By this worship through actions, you can enhance your spiritual growth, irrespective of the combination of gunas. This is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. It doesn't say that Upanishads or the Brahma Vidya is meant for only people who have renounced life and sitting in solitude, in isolation. No. Everybody can move towards that goal through change of attitude towards what you do, irrespective of the combination of gunas you have. So Gurudev said, when unbroken awareness of the Lord becomes a constant habit of the mind, dedication becomes effective and man's evolution starts. This is the reason why Gita is a universal teacher. It's not meant for only one who has abandoned worldly duties. A man of action, whoever be he or she, a person of action working in the world, workaday world, can surely engage in the same work which he has been doing, yet convert that into worship of God. He need not have to imitate anybody else. He need not change his profession. He need not worry about how much rasas I have, how much sattva I have, how much tamas I have. Doesn't matter. All that I need to do is to have the correct understanding that I am doing everything to that one who is in all, in everyone, equally. And if I have that attitude, then slowly I can enhance my spiritual growth and come to have inner freedom through action. I don't need to abandon my work. I don't need to renounce what I do. So this is the reason why Bhagavan Krishna was asked this question by Arjuna in the beginning of this chapter. I want to know about sannyasa, I want to know about tyaga. And Krishna said very clearly, both are one and the same. One who gives up action is sannyasi, and one who gives up the anxiety for result of action is tyagi. But you, Arjun, start tyaga. That is the way to go. Sannyasa will naturally take place. Don't worry about it. Don't be anxious about what is going to happen. Continue to do. And you will reach there. We'll see more of it in the next session. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhat bhaved. Om shanti shanti shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.